Bow. What's good, y'all? It's King Blake, right back with the content re-up. Listen, Wayne got all eyes on him right now. Lil Wayne continues to take his stance when everybody's so pro Black Lives Matters right now. Wayne ain't trying to hear that shit. Wayne is in his own world. Wayne is on his own time. Wayne do his own goddamn thing. And he marched to the beat of his own drum. And we all know that, and we've come to accept that about Wayne for the most part. But at the same time, when there's protesting going on out here and everybody's just very like hyper sensitive about what's going on in the world and making sure everybody stays clear about where they stand and nobody, you know, wanting to hear that bullshit because people feel like we've been patient long enough and we've been turning each other cheek long enough and that shit ain't been working. So now they want to know where you stand, and it's just clear as that. So that's where spotlight goes back on Wayne. He's got his own show now, and the issue came up again. And then recently today he was on Skip and Shannon Undisputed, and I love that show. That's my shit. You know what I mean? But he got a good relationship with them. He done bought them the chains and everything like that. So that's where he feel comfortable at. So, and to know, what we've seen about Wayne is that we know that nigga love to skate and he fucking loves to watch sports. So skating and sports is his thing. Skating, sports, and smoking. You know what I mean? So it's like with that came up again with his whole stance because a few years back he had an interview where he was very strong on his don't come at me with all that Black Lives Matter shit. He said my life is important, and that's what he said. So he said he a young black rich nigga in America. He said if they don't tell you that Black Lives Matter, basically he don't know what else to tell you. So that was Wayne's stance. People wasn't feeling that. They told him get the fuck out of here with that shit. So Wayne, again, this comes up because this is the time that we in right now. And Wayne gives a story and, some clarity. He's talked about this before, but this time he, went into depth where he was talking about how when Wayne was 12 years old, he shot himself. A lot of people have heard about that. If you're familiar with Wayne's backstory, it wasn't always the most clear thing. I don't know, at least in my eyes, I don't know if it just became more clear more recently that he shot himself, but he shot himself when he was a kid, and he was telling the story about how when the police came, they received a call, and he somehow was able to manage to get their attention to come in the house, and most of the cops just ran right by him, but there was this one cop who he felt like saved him, and he affectionately dubbed this guy Uncle Bob. So that's who he has always looked at as like, well, cops ain't bad because Uncle Bob saved my life type of thing. So, when you have a personal relationship with the foe, I guess you could say it changes your perspective sometimes. And that's where his stance has been the whole time. Like, yo, I know good cops and I ain't trying to be on that I'm against them type shit. That's how he's always tried to make it seem whenever this issues come up, I guess. I don't know. Until something personally affects you, that's when you see people change on a lot of issues. But for now, this is where he at with it. So he went on to go and say, coincidentally though, that this Uncle Bob cop that he thought was so wonderful and great is the same person who ended up locking up Baby for quite some time. But Baby said he was a good cop too. Like, he gave him chance after chance, and then that's when shit just ran out of luck and he got his ass locked up. So he had a lot of high praise for this Uncle Bob guy. But I just like to always offer the other side of the coin, you know what I mean? I just look at it like, people got to remember too, like, Wayne is 37 years old. He's been famous for like 22 years. Back that ass up came out in like 98. And he been making hits and on the road and dropping music ever since then. So his reality is a little bit whooped because bro's rapping about a 14-year existence, probably, maybe, let's say by seven, let's say at the most, right? Let's say at the most, Wayne jumped off the porch at like 6, 7 years old. He's rapping about what, 7, 8, 9 years of like active life in the streets, but he's been famous for 22 years, so he don't have that same experience as a teenager and as a young adult and as a man growing up in these areas where police are targeting you because there's so much crime going on, but at the same time there's so much heavy policing going on, so it creates these day-to-day conflicts where, people always say, oh, but what about black on black crime? That shit don't have nothing to do with anything, and especially because of the simple fact that I pay taxes. So I ain't paying for the motherfucker gangster in my hood to shoot my ass, but I'm paying for this motherfucking cop to protect and serve me. And if he ain't doing that, then what the hell is this, extortion? I don't know, but it's just my thoughts on it. But again, Wayne, he's still on the same stance. He loved Uncle Bob. That's the dude who rode out for him. So that's where he at with it. Some food for thought for you, man. Y'all do the dishes.